Hi folks, Marlon DeGrand, just lost again on YouTube and Fish99 on rcgroups.com. Here today with a special treat for myself. I was looking at this beautiful Parkzone SE 5A, Scout Experimental 5A World War I model biplane the other day at the hobby shop. It's a beautiful plane. Wasn't one I was expecting to be able to pick up this year because I have other plans right now. And much to my pleasant surprise, my lovely wife, Teresa, picked this up for me today. So today you're going to see the unboxing and maiden flight of the Parkzone bind and fly version of the RAF SE 5A, Scout Experimental 5A, World War I biplane fighter. This is going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to a lot. So let's see what's in the box. Okay, here we are ready to take everything out of the box. I've taken the liberty off camera to remove all the styrofoam and the bubble wrap and the tape that's been holding everything down, both masking tape and everything. Anybody that's had any time dealing with Parkzone or the rest of the Horizon Hobby products, that'd be Hanger 9, E-Flight, that kind of stuff, Blade, you'll know that they come extremely well packaged. This thing arrived perfect, not a scratch on it. Basically show you what's in the box here. Of course it comes with the standard 3-cell 2 to 3 cell balancing charger. It's got the 12 volt DC direct outlet. I'm not a big fan of it, but hey, you know what? We probably, if you've got a few of these Parkzone kits, you know you've got a couple of these sitting around. Might as well have it in the garage. Comes with a 3-cell 1800 milliamp 15C discharge LiPo battery, which should be more than enough to push this around at more than scale speeds. Got your horizontal stabilizer and elevator. Bubble wrapped, excellent shape, no problem at all. So you're going to see it's got the upper wing, okay, it's all pre-hinged, but although it's just the foam hinges, those of you that like it can probably cut it for now. I see no cracks on it at all, and the painting's good. The decals are pre-installed. It's ready to mount down, ready to attach to the ailerons that are in the lower wing. Should be good to go. Got your lower wing. Ailerons are already pre-installed and wired in. Wires coming up through the bottom. And the mounting brackets for the push rods that go up to the upper ailerons. So you really have dual ailerons on upper and lower wings on both sides. Run off of a servo on either side. Have the vertical stabilizer with the rudder. Again, deckled up already. Has the steerable tail wheel built into it right now, although you can in this kit also put the just the skid plate on it if you want it to really look scale like they did in World War I. So that should be interesting. At the grass field, I think I'm going to go with the skid, to be honest. Of course, you've got the main fuselage. Love the detail. Love the detail. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. It's got the sighting device, which looks like it got a little crushed, to be honest with you, on my model, but it should be nothing but a little pop and a pull. There we go. Now it's built. And then you've got the one machine gun, the Lewis machine gun that was intrinsic to the fuselage, and that was timed through the propellers, and then there's going to be an over the wing Lewis machine gun as well. Got the full radiator, or full exhaust coming out of the exhaust panels. It's all deckled up. Pre-installed servos for your elevator and your rudder. You've got an AR600X, which is a DSM-X, which means it's compatible with all DSM-2 or DSM-X radios. That'd be your Spectrum DX5s, the new 6Is, the 7s, the new 8, the new 7S, and the new 4 as well. So they would all be able to bind with this DX600X 6-channel receiver. You've also got an E-Flight 30 amp brushless speed controller. Okay. And inside here is a Park 480 motor, brushless outrunner, and a propeller, scale propeller is already attached. And look at that. Look at the radiator. Isn't that awesome? It's just an amazing looking little piece of rig. I can't believe how much detail they put into this foam now. You can hardly see the bubble lines on it. It's just beautiful, and I love the little scarf on Buddy here. Although somebody on RC Groups mentioned the pilot here looks a little bit like Gary Busey, but that's all right. Okay, let's see what's in here. We've got, this is basically your main landing gear mounts. So we've got the scale little fairing in there. We've got the main landing gear. with the pants that come down on it and a bunch of the assembly bolts and such. And this is the scale tail skid as well. And this other package, you've got the scale Lewis machine gun for the top, some of your push rods for your dual ailerons, and the battery hatch cover, some of the rods that go between the wings, etc. That kind of stuff. So this is all you're going to need with screws and push rods to complete your SA5A. And don't forget, as in every Parkzone model, your manual with all the details on how to put it together, where your settings are, etc. are all supposed to be taped underneath on the box. So if you're looking for it, it's always underneath. So let's put this thing together off camera, and if there's particularly tricky spots or anything like that, I'll take some video in the middle of it to show you how the build goes. Talk to you. Alright folks, I just want to show you something really quick. This is something that anybody like myself that owns a Parkzone Stinson, the SR10 Reliant, will be familiar with, but I just thought I'd show you how it works. When the plane is, of course, with the wings on, your receiver is going to be covered up. It's not a problem to bind a receiver right now without the wings on it, the lower and the upper wings, but if for some reason at the field you should lose binding, or you should want to bind it to a different transmitter or something like that, rather than have to take your wings apart, for those that don't, Parkzone has put an extension into the battery tray for the binding plug. So you plug your binding plug into that, and by default, of course, it jumps it. Then you bind your battery. So just so you know, it's a nice little hint there. Don't have to take the wing apart. This thing's in there. It's pretty handy. So you just bind right from there. Take care. Folks, I just want to show you something really quickly before you go any further. On these tabs for mounting the rear end of the main landing gear mains on, you'll see one's marked left. The other one has a similar marking underneath it that's for right. This would be left and right when the plane's sitting belly down. You see the nose is pointed that way. This is the left side of the plane. This is the right side of the plane, so the left tab goes on the left side. You'll see there's a little indentation. The marking actually goes down. This little tab here, a lot of times if you're used to building plastic models, those kind of tabs are really just molding tabs, and what you do is you normally just kind of trim that off. That should be no big deal if you were just building a regular plastic model, but as you can see, that little tab, this little tab here, is used to lock this in place. So just, I'm sure it wouldn't be a big deal, but try to remember, don't try and trim that off, and things should fit together nicely. Alright folks, as you can see, the rest of the build went pretty good. There was actually very little that I had to do that was a little bit odd. I think one of the bits about the instructions that you might want to pay careful attention to is the bit when it starts to try to tell you how to install the two bolts for the wings. Now, it seems to discriminate or differentiate between these two bolts here and the bolts that are utilized when you're mounting the four main fuselage struts. But in fact, they are one and the same bolt. So your two wing bolts are actually the same size and the very same bolts that are used for mounting the main wing struts. Other than that, everything else was fairly self-explanatory, fairly quick. It went together great. It looks awesome, and we're going to take it outside, do a quick little taxi test on the street, let you see how it goes, and then it's time for the maiden flight. Here it is, folks. The Parkzone RAF SE 5A, Special Scout Experimental 5A, World War I biplane. Gary Busey, the pilot. Try and get you a good close look at him. Quite the fellow there. I think I'm gonna have to name him Gary, just because the resemblance is just uncanny. So there we go. What a beautiful plane. What a wonderful looking piece of work by the folks at Horizon Hobby and Parkzone. The scale detail on this thing is amazing. Right, I just love the radiator, the machine gun on the top, the sight aiming in the machine gun on the bottom. Nice little glass panel in front of the pilot. The footstep for where the pilot gets in and out of the aircraft on both sides. It's, you know, the full wood struts and everything. It just is an amazing job. The exhaust manifolds on both sides. They've done a great job. They thought of everything on this thing. The tail went together great. We're down to just two little strips of tape here. It's a very solid tail surface. Took me probably a couple little turns on the aileron up and down aileron connectors, the connectors for the ailerons top and bottom, to get everything flushed out and level. But I tell you what, it really didn't take much for trimming here to make everything run straight and smooth, and I bound to my DX6i, and we're golden here. So I'm looking forward to the taxi test. See you in a second. Okay folks, ready to do a little taxi test. As you can see, control surfaces are right, left, up, down, right rudder, left rudder, and throttle. I've got dual rates set up on it for 80% and 100% with some exponential built into it, a little bit more on the rudder than anything else. As you can see, it's just a beautiful looking model. Look at Gary, he's all stylish with that scarf. No problem handle. Tail lifts off in short order. I was worried about how this will handle on grass, so let's have a look. Taxi testing on grass that's nowhere close to as nice as our flying club. As you can tell, it handles it like a champ. Tell me that doesn't work. Tail's in the air. I actually had a little minor takeoff there, actually. That might actually be considered the maiden flight during the taxi test. As you can tell, the tail gets up in the air quick. And that was less than half throttle. This thing's going to have oodles of power. Way more than scale. Looking forward to taking it up in the air.